I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, heart's full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the
Tank. I
tank.
am the tank. Big
Big
tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of bringing to you guys one of my best friends from Clapper and someone I have met face to face, Bluesman. Bluesman, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Thank you, Tank. Nice to be here.
We'll get to Lena's question here in a minute. First question is always the same. Tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be on Clapper.
I'm just a working guy in this world out here, and decided to. I've been part of music my whole life, and different types of playing and music and stuff. And I live up here in Canada. I live in a small town that's got the longest. I don't know if it's called the longest whitewater, the longest clear water beach in the world, and it's quite the tourist place. So I live up here, as I say, and I'm kind of an old guy doing things real late in life, but having a hell of a time. Clapper, for me, I came to Clapper through Rob George many years ago, Christ's sakes, 2 years ago. It seems like many years ago. He brought me over. I had just joined TikTok and did one video, and by myself and stuff. And he saw it and he asked me to come over, and I came over here. And wow, did I ever find a whole new group of real people and real interviews and real everything. So that's how I came to Clapper, was through Rob George had brought me here, and I've never left and got rid of TikTok and everything else. So having a good time here.
Definitely glad you're here, brother. Let's jump right in with Lena's question. She wants to know, have any women given you their panties or bra after you sing or perform in general?
Okay, I can say this right now. My wife is upstairs with my son. She's not watching anymore. There was a time I used to play in an R&B band as a bass player. That was my bring into music myself. And there's been a few things like a bra thrown up, as she says, of panties. But I was part of a pretty big band, and pretty well known in our area. We toured all the time. So yes, things like that kind of go on, or women not caring if you're married, but can I just give you a kiss anyways? No, thank you. But anyway. So yeah, it's happened.
Vamp asks, what's it like being Canadian man candy?
Well, that's only to my friend down there, Canadian man candy. She called me that the first time I saw that, and I just, unbelievable. I think I fell in love with her. Never been called that even by my wife. That's funny.
So Peterbilt 1975, Danny, to his friends, wants to know how long you've been playing music.
Music is a long time. My uncle got me into it in the very beginning, taught me how to play bass. Professionally, I was a bass player probably at the age of around, the years are passing by, I'm starting to forget, probably say 30 years old, I guess, when I was part of a band and did that. Musically, it's been my whole life. All my uncles and aunts were musicians. Most of them were R&B artists. They never played together. They were all in their different bands. So I've been around it my whole life, dabbled a little bit in guitar, and then I got into the band, and then we left the band, and I got into guitar again, and here I am today. So it's kind of been a whole life thing.
I can understand that. Lena, I'm going to get your question, but I want to ask this one first. Who would you say was or is your greatest musical influence?
Well, to me, that's one person which nobody would know, which happens to be my uncle, that my uncle Rick. He's the one that he's a musician at 13 years old. He's been on stage, and I believe he's now, my Uncle Rick is about 77 years old, and he's still on stage, and he still sings the same stuff he did as a kid, and he's still got a great voice. He's my biggest musical influence because he's the one that finally got me one day to learn how to play an instrument, really, and that was the bass. He taught me how to play the bass. I stayed with him there. We created a band, and it was a big band, a 10-piece band, and so he definitely taught me the most important thing to me. And I've mentioned it, I think, to you the other day. It was the first time I kind of mentioned that with learning guitar. He taught me, said, Len, keep it as simple as you can musically. Unless you want to be a lead guitarist, unless you're going to be a main vocalist, but if you're going to be a guitarist, if you're going to switch or do anything, or even bass, keep it as simple as possible. I've kept that, and that has advanced me regardless of what I do, what instrument I've used over the years. I think like that. So my Uncle Rick.
That's awesome. Lena says, what singer or songwriter would you like to spend the day with and why?
Wow. It's not a hard decision on who I would. The decision is which one would I. I'd probably say Marvin Gaye. Probably my other person is Rod Stewart. Those two guys have been a part of my life since I've been a kid, musically, growing up. Marvin Gaye, because he could have brought me into a dream world. That would be a dream world. 60s R&B, to meet, to be with him, the music he did, the way he wrote music, the stories he told, they were about life. If I were to split them up, I would say Marvin Gaye over Rod Stewart because of the stories Marvin could tell through life. Rod Stewart was just fantastic music. He moved with every genre, every 5-10 years. He never left the scene. Marvin, of course, was killed by this. But Marvin would have been the number one, and that's why, because he could have, just to sit and listen to him talk, play, sing, and all that, that would be the reason. So, Marvin Gaye.
I absolutely understand that. Vamp wants you to tell us about the lap dance you got from your biggest Clapper fangirl.
You know, Vamp, since the day she saw me on here, has called me her eye candy. And when I went down and well, you weren't there. You were there. You hadn't got there yet. But when we went down to Vamp's wedding, and I went around the back of the house, just arrived, went around the back of the house, stepped up on the porch. Right away, I saw Granny, Gangsta Granny, and sat down talking to her. Then all of a sudden, around the corner come Vamp. She sees me in person. She comes right over. As she promised me, I was going to hump your leg. She got on me. I was sitting on a chair, and that was the best lap dance ever. It was funny. I just laugh about it because it was funny, but it was fantastic because of who she is. You know what I mean? So.
Now, you've mentioned R&B music quite a bit already. Is that your favorite kind of music?
Absolutely. The people and the R&B artists of my world are not today's. Mine are, Marvin Gaye, of course. It was R&B and soul, both. But it goes from Temptations to Wilson Pickett to Sam and Dave. Oh, great duo, Sam and Dave. And it goes on from there. So that era of R&B is my era. And it was only a short era, if you remember, Tank. It didn't last very long.
Yeah. Well, you probably know because we've talked about music. Sam and Dave made one of my favorite songs ever. And a lot of people might not even know it today, called Soul Sister Brown Sugar.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know just about every Sam and Dave's tune. I couldn't if something is wrong with my baby, probably by them is probably my favorite out of those guys.
Right on.
They're my tied duo of the world. Ever made music together, two people or two guys anyways, and they're one of the two sets, Sam and Dave.
Okay. How many musical instruments do you play altogether?
play guitar, I play bass. I dabble with drums. I did that for quite a while. Never did anything. That was just by myself. I played the baritone in school, big old baritone. And of
Right
course,
on.
a recorder, like both of our countries, probably start you off with a recorder in music in school, right? That's about that. That's what I play. So yeah.
Steve asked, what is your favorite Motown group or artist and why?
Motown artists. Okay, let's pull Marvin Gaye right out of there. I don't know. My favorite, I know who it is, but there's so many favorites. I'm gonna go with Wilson Pickett. Wilson Pickett, if for people who don't know, if you know the song Mustang Sally, that's Wilson Pickett. His music was pure Motown to me. I mean, you can go with the Temptations and all the great groups of that era, but to me, Wilson Pickett as the single most individual artist. And you could have. Sorry, go ahead.
When you talk about soul music or rhythm and blues music in general, if Wilson Pickett isn't the first name that comes out of your mouth, you don't really know the genre.
Pretty much.
To me.
Yep.
To me, he kind of defines that kind of music, so that makes sense to me. It's a really good answer. Now that Val is here, I'll ask this question. What makes Gangster Granny your evil twin?
Because we think a lot alike. Comedy-wise, it's almost like she opens her mouth. It's almost like I know what she's going to say, that type of thing. And evil twin is because there's a bit of language and stuff. It's just the way we are. You know what I mean? It's Gangsta Granny. You know what I mean? She tells it like it is, and I'll tell it like it is if it's needed. Only I use her to do that. She's my evil twin.
So, Mystic Rose wants to know, what are some of your goals that you would like to reach by the end of the year?
Well, it's finally happening for me. I mentioned this last year about I had a couple of songs and I was trying to get them. I was going to get them recorded. And I didn't know how, and I finally said enough's enough, and I did that this week. I went out to a recording studio. I had 2 days booked, and I was going to do 2 songs and that I had written 20 years ago. And I brought them out and I put them together. I opened them up and I put it together. And then I wrote a country song about, it's been about 2 weeks ago, I guess. I wrote a country song. And if you know me, like if in person, I've done it on here too. I do about 5 or 6 country tunes. I've never been a country fan. It's the one music I never grew up with. I grew up with it, and that's why I'm not a country fan, if that makes sense. And the way that it makes sense is my father was a country and western, Eddie Arnold, of course, Johnny Cash and all those olden days guys. I hated it growing up because I stuck with my uncles and R&B artists and had to come home and listen to, good old Eddie Arnold's. And so remind me of the question, because I kind of linger in bed here.
What goals you want to accomplish by the end of the year?
Oh, sorry, thank you. So I wrote that's what we got where I broke away from it. So it's funny for me to write a country tune, considering it's the least of all the music that I enjoyed. But now I'm starting to enjoy it as I've gotten it older. You know what I mean? And does that answer it or no? Good.
Well, you kind of did. You said your goals was to go into a studio, get these songs done, get at least that one song done, and you end up doing 3. So that's a pretty good answer for that.
I lose my memory a little bit in the middle of a conversation. I think I've said this before to you, but to finish on that, because I'll stick on that. So to go into a studio and do what I've done now, to finish the goal before the end of the year, is I pick up the music next week. I got a couple of things I got to go in and do on Tuesday. I'm going to pick up the music, and then I'm going to announce. I'm going to put it on Spotify. I'm going to put it where I can. I'll announce my dates of when I'm going to do that. So I'm finally going to get music out there of my own that I wanted to. So
looking forward to it, brother. So Val wants to know, how hard is it being older and forgetful?
You're not there yet, right? It's discouraging. In fact, with me, I lose memory pretty quickly. I never lose memory with with music. Never. You know what I mean? When I play music, memory does not You know what I mean? I could sing a song if I remember, you know what I mean? But when I'm talking to you on a one-on-one, I can lose memory pretty quick in the middle of my memory. And I've mentioned to you in the past, and I mentioned again, is that I have a group of friends personally that they know that if I'm in a conversation, being an old guy, and I'm in a conversation, somewhere along the line, when I open my mouth, I'm going to forget what I'm talking about, as I did a second ago, right? And they're already warned. So if a thought's in my head and they're talking, I will cut them off and they will not get mad at me because they know that thought will not be there that long. And so they're good with me. So it sucks, but
Just remember, you may be older than me, but not by much. I'm not that far behind you on that, and I do have some of that same issue. So, um, if you don't mind, let me get a little personal for a minute. You are married, right?
absolutely. Yep.
How many children and grandchildren?
Two kids, a boy and a girl that are 45 and 43, and three granddaughters that are all at a university and college now. So, yep.
But no great grandchildren yet, right?
Oh no, no. But you know what? I can see it coming. I can see it coming. My oldest granddaughter and her boyfriend been together about 5 years now. They're both finished university. She's a forensic scientist. Well, actually, he's not finished. He's still going to university to do whatever. So, yeah, yeah.
Right. How long have you been married?
Since 1981. Let me do the
So,
number. Sorry, go
as an,
ahead.
as an old guy who's been married for a while, what's the secret to keeping a good marriage strong and you know healthy and a good marriage?
I think it's being best friends. My wife and I were together at 16 years old, and we've been best friends our whole life. We kind of looked alike a lot when we were younger. We were both blonde-haired, blue-eyed, freckled teenagers, and she had big boobs, and I was in like a dirty shirt and laundry.
Okay, this question got asked a little while ago by Sharon, and it's one of my questions as well. What's your favorite song to perform?
It's funny. My favorite song has not been performed. Last time I sang it was like month and a half ago, and before that was 3 months, and that's my favorite song. And it's only because I stopped playing it live here at home because my keyboard is What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, right? That is my
Great song.
so, and I really got to get back to playing that because I really enjoy singing it as well.
It is a phenomenal song too. Um, and I got to tell you, I am one of your fans, and I love the way. First of all, when you do a song, you pretty much make it yours. You don't try to be exactly like the original, and that's one thing I like about people when they do cover songs. They make it theirs. But the rhythm and blues songs that you do, those are definitely in your wheelhouse, brother. I definitely could tell that's where you cut your teeth in music. Just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, and for me, doing the R&B now, I had started off with a lot of classic rock and different type like that, and R&B was always my top on the list, and it took me a long time to start it because it's not easy to sing and play R&B for me on a guitar and sing it. It's not an easy thing. And so when I just recently started doing that, right, in the last, whatever, 6 months or something, to throw the odd one in. And I really want to get into more and more, and I'm starting to. And as you saw the other day, I did my first blues. I mean, my name is Bluesman, and I did my blues song the other day by Bobby Bland.
I got to take a minute. Karen wanted to thank you for taking her suggestion and learning the song "Nights in White Satin." She mentioned it twice, so I wanted to make sure it got mentioned. Lena asked, do you regret anything? And she says, I know at our age, we all do.
Do I regret anything? Wow. You know, I've lived a long life. There's probably been regrets throughout my life. I can't think of any. I honestly, I can't think of any on this moment right now. I'm living life. I'm a guy that I went from, so I come from, like a lot of people out there in the world, I come from poverty, and, you know, things that have gone on through my life, I've been able to overcome every step because even if it was something, regrettable, is gone from my head. You know what I mean? As I kept stepping forward. So I've made it to this point on a very low education, a poverty state. I own my own house. I have no mortgage. So I've made it through life pretty good. So it's hard to have regrets for me, because I passed them all. I got them out of my head if they were. I can't even think of the regrets.
I was going to say that I'm sure we all have regrets as we go. The fact that you don't keep those in your head, that's a good thing. If you've had them, you had it and it's gone and you moved on. And I really respect that. I do have a few Clapper specific questions because, as you know, when I do these interviews, I also want to, we do this on Clapper because of how Clapper can be. I like to get into the heads of the people I'm interviewing. So let me ask you a couple. First thing is, what is your favorite thing about Clapper?
Is doing lives. I had never experienced lives until I came here doing live shows for people. I'd never experienced anything like this before. It's the thing that's really started me off flying on music, got me singing, because I wanted to do more and more and more. So I'd say the lives on Clapper are my favorite thing because you get to interact like we're doing right now. You know what I mean? And then you got. I only use 6 windows in my live just because I want more time to sing for everybody as opposed to having 9, right? Time to get around. So I love the way that everything's set up with a live. All parts of a live on Clapper are, to me, I think are fantastic.
I can respect that. Before I get to Paul's question, Ronan says he's yours and Lou's biggest fan, and I think he's willing to fight somebody that'll argue the point with him. I'll let it go because I'm Ronan's biggest fan, so there's that. Now, Paul wants to know if you'd spend time with any artist no longer here, who would it be and what would you ask him?
An artist? You talking about out in the real world, an artist that's not here anymore?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of said that when it came to Marvin Gaye, but there's other people. I mean, I'd love to sit down with Elvis Presley. I've been to that guy's mansion. I grew up with him. I don't mention him a lot, and I only play a few of his songs. But as a kid, I never missed an Elvis Presley movie of any kind. Like, I don't care what he did, any concerts. I didn't go to the concerts, but I know all about him. So I'd say, you know what, as an alternative to Marvin, I would say Elvis, just to experience him. You know what I mean? Like in person. Because I fell in love with him when he was a kid. Let me rephrase that. I fell in love with the women on the beach movies when he was, it's like Frankie Avalon, right?
I will say this: you know very well that I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan. One of the Elvis songs you sang for because I would like it because it's my favorite song ever. So there is that. I will get to Denise's question after I get this one done. What is your least favorite thing about Clapper?
A lot of people's least favorite things too is the glitches. The glitches, it's one thing. It's one thing to have glitches and then have an update. But when an update brings I won't say a whole bunch, it brings more glitches with it and does not take away all of the old glitches. So, I mean, I've got glitches I deal with every day and they piss me off every day of the week because I'm on here looking at people's video and it's those glitches that are giving me the biggest headache in the world.
Absolutely. Denise wants to know, do you have any one artist you worked with that made the most impact on your life?
An artist I work with. I really can't I played with a lot of musicians, but they're well unknown. And so it only leads back again to I can't even say there's one that influences like that other than my uncle. We're getting back to my uncle as an influence for music, but
And your uncle is a good answer for that question anyway.
Yeah.
But Vanilla Gorilla says, have you gotten the chance to learn the song he suggested?
Oh my goodness. Ask him to remind me, because I've had like 5 I said I'm going to get to, and I'm getting to everybody slowly as I do. But which song was it, Gorilla? Oh, I forget the.
Guys, yeah, we're missing. I miss questions. I'm sorry. They sometimes get going. And Val wants to know if you could live anywhere in the world. Where would it be?
She's gonna get a spank, and I just saw the 50. No, that's her husband Teddy, the 51st date. That he knows. Everybody knows it gets me going. Sorry, give me the question again, because I read that as you were saying. The Val says, sorry.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Canada. To visit anywhere else in the world, to live for a short period of time. Normally I would say, and this is honest truth, the United States. But right now, no. If I could live anywhere in the world, it would be since I've been a little kid, would be England, would be London, England. Not necessarily London, but England. That is a place I would live.
That's cool. I understand that, Lena. I don't know what I can do about it. Just have people keep putting them in, or I don't know, we'll figure out a way around it. But this is similar to what Ted's question was, only I'm not going to add America's 51st state to the end of it. It's the best thing about being Canadian. His question is the best thing about living in Canada.
I think Canada's a place where it offers you everything. Like we got lots of taxes. Yes, we got lots of. But the best thing about being in Canada is the health system, the people, and that's not against any other country, but the people are, hey, how the hell are you today? You know what I mean? On the street. And, I've been in many places where you open your mouth and say, hey, buddy, how's it going? Not a look at you. But you do that here, in most cases, you're going to have people talk and give you back a nice gesture and stuff like that. So the people, to me, are the best thing about Canada. The people that live in this country that are Canadians are the best thing about this country. But you could say the same thing about the country too.
Mystic Rose, if the questions are not showing in the comments, it will be hard for one of us to write them down. That's what Lena's saying. They're not showing in the comments for us to be able to read them and ask our guests the questions. And I can understand the frustration of that. One more Clapper-related question, and we'll move on to other stuff. Who on Clapper, if anyone, inspires you the most?
It's going to be musically. I'm going to, I could really play it safe here and say you, Tank.
Why?
Because without motivation, people don't go very far. You need to be motivated to do something, and seeing your videos constantly, the look in your face when whatever you're saying, whatever you're putting out there, you just got to smile, and it's your motivation, and it just puts a smile on my face. I could go musically and say Ronan and Lou as I would normally musically. But inspiration, I'll give that back to you.
Well, I appreciate that. You're going to enjoy this question. Bugs wants to know, how often have you seen a midget bumblebee in Walmart?
That was so friggin' funny. For most people that don't know, is I took a trip down to see Van getting married, and before I got to any of the houses to meet anybody, I went to a Walmart, And my wife and I are walking into Walmart, and I look over about, I'm going to go, distance was about 40 feet from me. Imagine this, by a bunch of freezers. And I turn and I happen to look and I see this little thing and it wasn't a kid. I just saw it and I went, turned to my wife and I said, check out the broad that's got the bumblebee suit on. I said to my wife, as fast as I said, this is the perfect example of what I see in videos. It happens in life. And my wife says to me, oh, for Christ's sakes, that's Val. And she went running to her to give her a big hug. And I went, get the out of here. So
okay, I like this question. I like this next question. Vanilla Gorilla says he's seen you without your hat, and I have too. So we know it's not permanently attached. How did it become your favorite hat?
I wear this, like before I got on Clapper, I wore this for God since I used to be in a motorcycle club years ago, and I went to a motorcycle meet, and a motorcycle thing that went on. You know when they do like what do you call it down there? Sturgis,
Rally?
sort of like Sturgis, that kind of thing. Where you got vendors.
A rally?
Yeah,
like a rally.
Yeah, exactly. So I seen this hat. I walked by it and I looked and I went, oh fuck! Right away, it reminded me first of all of Guns N' Roses, right? That what's his name? And I looked at it and I've always liked. I'm never a guy of baseball caps like yourself. I got a bunch of them. People give me. I don't wear them. I never wore hats my whole life, but this hat. I bought this hat, and when I was on motorcycle runs or anything, when I got off my motorcycle, on went the hat. So it was something I was already commonly wearing. And then I'm going to say this part because it brings it back to a Clapper guy. When I joined Clapper, Mr. Tom, remember Mr. Tom?
Oh, yeah.
He said to me one day when I was just started playing music, and I never put the hat on in the beginning. And I put it on one day, and Mr. Tom came on and he says, Len, he says, Blues, he says, that's your whole, what do you call it? He says, without the hat, with the hat is who you are. And I thought about it and went, people will start recognizing. And it was so true because as time passed on, I take this hat off, half the people don't even know who I am when I don't wear the hat. They look and they go, kind of know this guy. As soon as I put the hat on, I go Bluesman. So that's a fiction.
I'm going to ask a pause on the questions for a moment, and I'm going to ask you, Bluesman, if you'd like to play a song for us.
Sure will. Sure can. Yeah. I'm going to play this song. I made a video of it a couple ago. It's I'm going to give it a go anyways. It's called I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. I was listening to I never knew this song. I looked it up and it was in 2008. So I got a bunch of different people coming and commenting on my video because that's their era. I'm not usually this far forward, right? I do a few songs of today, but I heard this song in the back end of a commercial on the radio and I go, what the hell is that thing playing in the back? And that's what I did was I came home, pulled out this song, put it up, sat down with my guitar, learned it didn't learn it real fast, but it was a hard song to learn, just long-wise, a lot of words. And so that's how I came out with to play this song. And I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go today. It's not a short one, it's not real long, but it's a long enough song. So it's not like sorry?
I said, I appreciate it. I'll shut up and let you do your thing.
Make sure it's all working here. Okay. Oh, let me pray my drummer is right. I got my drum player, my drummer, and my bass right at my foot. And a couple of nice guys sitting down there. So there we go. Can you hear this okay, the guitar part?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even hear the drummer in that as well. So.
Well, you found me. I bet you felt it. I tried to be chill, but it's so hard I melted. I fell right through the
That was phenomenal, brother. And thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
And we do have some questions backing up. First, I want Casey Chiefs fan, his inspiration getting music, he said he addressed that was his uncle and his family. They're all musicians. That's what got him into it. Ted wants to know, what is your motivation to continue playing music now? You know, especially at your advanced age.
Ooh.
I
It's
added the last part of it.
I know, it's all fun. Um, it's what I'm doing now. It's being able to get that off me. It's being able to record now and do some of my own music is now really pushing me. I I absolutely love doing covers. I'm going to continue trying to do a cover a day once I get set. But my inspiration now is I've got a voice that I didn't know I could sing. People are liking it, and I'm doing my own music, and I want to continue to do that. So that's my new inspiration is going to continue writing and playing. I
Absolutely.
told Ronan a while ago I wish I could do what he did, and I'm kind of starting that for myself, musically for himself.
Right. Now, we're both friends with Ronan. We know he's been singing and writing songs all that for years. How long have you been singing?
Oh, just since I joined Clapper. So it was one video before joining Clapper. So I've been singing live was to Clapper in January 1st. Will be 2 years. So
That's
before
why
that,
I had to ask that, because I knew you only started singing after you had joined Clapper. But I don't think anybody else, not a lot of people know that. And to me, that's a phenomenal thing. And you don't seem to be intimidated by it, or, it's all just natural. So I love it. Lena wants to know, what's your favorite tattoo, and what tattoo do you still want to get?
that's my favorite tattoo right there. This you can't quite. I can't even get it to show you. But what it says, it's a tattoo that I drew, and what it is, it's got a big heart in it, and it's got a little heart inside of the heart, which is my wife's heart in my heart, and it's got 1981. It's got the date we were married. It's got a picture of a world above it, the Earth, and in it says my world, which is that my world is my wife and everything associated in here. So that's my favorite. I'm not finished tattooing. I haven't had a tattoo in a couple of years, but all I've been thinking about now, I want to finish. I want to get a sleeves. And my tattoos are they're different. There's spiders and there's different things. There's not one particular type of tattoo. So I'm just gonna find what catches my eyes, and I'm gonna fill my arms up with them. So yes, I don't
like
have.
that. I've only got 3 tattoos total, and one of them I need to get changed, and there's a story behind it, but I won't bother with that. But I can respect that. I got a couple of questions I do want to get out here. First one, what's one thing about Bluesman that would surprise people to know?
One thing about me, I can name a bunch of things. I'm trying to think. I'm a paintball. Well, I got a bad back now. I would have said a paintballer. I'm the oldest guy in the field every time I go out. I don't know if people know what paintballing is. It's a lot of running up hills and down hills and diving, and you're carrying with they're not guns, but they're called markers, the same as guns, but they're markers. And that sport to me is I have so much fun, but unfortunately right now, bad back. I'm a scuba diver, and there's so many things I could just say. What is my favorite? I don't know the things I do, but I had so many, or I have so many.
Absolutely. Vanilla Gorilla asks, which guitar is your favorite?
My new Breed Love, the one you just saw me play. I went down to Louisiana to meet Lou and to play music with him there. And we went out to buy a guitar, and I had this intention of buying this one guitar that we went to, which was a Gibson J45. And I had it in my hands. I wasn't sure. And Lou said to me, Len, let me show you a guitar. And that's the guitar I bought. That's my favorite of Breed Love.
Very nice. I'll get to Danny's question in a second. I want to know, what song is the most difficult for you to perform, and why?
I think I really enjoy playing it. I think it's Perfect by Ed Sheeran. Um, it took me a long time to play it, and when I play and sing a song, I really feel every song that I play. If I feel it, and that song took me a long time because every time I opened my mouth, I wanted to cry. And I had to keep stopping and keep stopping. And it wasn't because I wasn't learning, it was because I was really feeling it and just making me sad and that kind of thing. So
Right.
I look at that as my most difficult song, but it was more of a personal thing to get through it.
I understand that. Lane, I'll do your question in a second. I would want to ask, because I'm an aspiring musician anyway, what advice would you give to an aspiring musician, especially just starting out?
It's going to be exactly what my uncle gave to me, and I think as I said to you, is that if you're going to take on music, and can I expand on it a little bit too? When I was younger, and I would go in, I'd buy a guitar, right? I'd own it for a year, whatever. I'd buy a guitar, I'd play it for a month, I'd take some lessons, I'd quit, and the guitar would go away for another 8 months. And I would do it again in a couple of years, and it would go away again, it would never last. And the reason that happened, as far as I'm concerned, is there's so much information. There's over 5,000 chords in life, and they all try to teach all this kind of stuff. The day my uncle said to me, just keep it simple. Learn the main chords. Learn this. Keep things as simple as possible. So if you're going to take up something, I'll say this: if you're young, you might want to do all that. That learning, reading, all that kind of stuff. I can't read music at all or anything like that. You might want, but when you get older, are you looking to, if you're going to be a new musician, are you looking to be a star at your age? Or are you looking just to enjoy music and play some music? Are you looking to enjoy, then keep it as simple as damn possible. You will not believe how far you can go. I play, I've got, I think, 240 videos of 240 different songs, and that's over the course of almost 2 years of being on Clapper, because 90% of what I play is simple as shit. It is really simple. The hardest thing is to play a guitar and open your mouth at the same time. Once you figure that out, because it takes a while to do the two. Every time I strum the guitar and I went to sing, my hand would stop, right? So keep it as simple as possible. Whatever you're going to do, whether it's a keyboard, learning music, learn simple. Look at where you want to be in life musically with it, I think. And if you just want to enjoy the instrument, keep it as simple as possible.
That's excellent advice. Danny wants to know if you ever played a steel guitar.
No. You know why? It associated with country music. No. It's terrible to say, but that's why. That's honestly why.
No problem. Lena wants to know, do you want to play another musical instrument that you haven't learned yet?
I've wanted to, which is keyboard. I wanted to play piano, more keyboard. I would love to. Like Lou can play that. He can play. I know like 3 chords on there. I guess if I keep it simple, I can learn, right?
That's good advice to follow, even for yourself.
Yep.
Steve wants to know, how can a musician overcome underestimating their talent?
You have to be able to sit back and look at yourself and listen to what somebody says. So when it comes to my talent, people tell me, you're a pretty good guitar player, and I always took that as like, damn, I never took it well because I never learned to say thank you. You know what I mean? And so to overcome, that's probably what I'd say, is to overcome myself and listen to some other people, and say that, you know what, I'm not as bad as I always pressure myself to be. And when somebody gives me a compliment, I now say thank you, as opposed to, yeah, right. Yeah, go give Marvin Gaye a compliment. I'm just you know what I mean? I've learned to say thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the hardest thing, I think, in general for people is, taking a compliment can be as simple as a smile and thank you. because most people, when they give compliments, they're being genuine. So accept that, smile, say thank you, and I believe in affirmations. I think if you tell yourself something enough, then it becomes your reality. So, if you start looking at speaking well for yourself or about yourself, and get to where you start believing that, then it makes it a lot easier to accept that from someone else.
Absolutely.
And that took me a lot of years of life to figure that out, but it really does make a difference. Paul, I'll get your question, but first, if you don't mind, Bluesman, I'd like to take a minute because I got a couple of announcements. And I usually announce who's my next week's guest, which I am going to do. Ted Dweebert, who is in the chat today, will be my guest next week for Big Tank Talk, 3:00 Central Standard Time. But I also want to announce the rest of the following 3 weeks after that. On October the 5th, my guest will be the Black Spider-Man, already confirmed. On October the 12th, my guest will be American Bearded Warrior. He's somebody I've been after for months to ask him to let me interview him, and he contacted me today and let me know that October 12th is a go. And then on October the 19th, and this is someone that a lot of us know and really love and appreciate, Dana Stargazer Truitt is my guest on October 19th. So, Bluesman, we got a phenomenal lineup coming in right behind you, brother. But it's still it's an honor for me that you're here and we get to ask you questions. Now, having said that, I'll get you to Paul's question. I'll ask it the way it usually gets asked instead of the way you put it there. If you could go back in time and talk to your 18-year-old self, and you gave your 18-year-old self advice, what would that advice be?
My 18-year-old self. I would just say I wouldn't make changes. I've lived a pretty tough kind of life. I would say, you know what? Just keep going in the direction that I'm going in. That's coming from a guy who's 64 years old. So that would be my advice. Don't change what I'm doing. Go in the direction that I did, because I got everything I wanted in life, but I earned it all. I don't say everything in life, but I say most things in life I've earned it all. So I would just say stay the course. Stay what you're doing. Don't listen to other people. Do what your own brain tells you, and you'll get through life pretty good, because I did.
Now, I would feel bad if I didn't bring this up. Can you tell us about Denim Waves?
Denim Waves, my good friend Wendy. When after my first time that I ever decided to say, I'm going to take this act out to the real life and see what people see. See if, I know this is a terrible thing to say. At the time, it was early, right? So I'd only been playing for so long, but I was thinking, let's find out if I'm being bullshitted. If that's okay to say, right? Meaning I'm on Clapper, it's the people that are saying, yay, lad, and now I'm going to go in real life and say, let's see if they bullshitted me by doing this to me to make me feel good, okay? So what I did was I went out and I got into this jam night gig, and I met Wendy, and she was there, and it was her first time. She's a trained pianist. She reads music. When I give her something like a simple chart, she goes, G, okay, F. But meanwhile, she plays like this. But to break it down into simple forms, she can't. She has trouble. Now she's getting good at it. So that night I met Wendy, she got off stage and I got on right after her. And when I came down, she came up to me. I didn't know who she was. She says, mind my language, she goes, wasn't that fucking great? Being on stage for the first time and people clapping, right? So that's how I met Wendy, and it just went on. We were both doing singles, and then all of a sudden, I think I said to her, I said, do you want to get together and collaborate? Because she's just a piano player. I don't mean just a piano, but just two of us. Best move I ever did. So Denim Waves, she came up with the name and everything, and she's gung-ho on, Denim Waves this and, getting shirts, and she's right into it good. Let her do that. I'll just keep singing. I do most of the singing with the band. She does a few songs. I've taught her a lot, even though she's much more musically talented than I did. I taught her a lot more about being on stage only because I have a long history of being on stage. Not as a guitar player, remember, as a bass player in my old R&B band.
Right.
So Denim Waves is us here locally. We live in a place called Wasaga Beach. Denim, we wear blue jeans. Denim Waves just seem to fit for her. So, and we have been getting booked to quite a few places over the last 6 months. So, and that leads back to the when I left Clapper and people are doing this in the audience and asking me when I'm finished saying no encore, and it's like there's other musicians to come up. That's when I thought, now, okay, so nobody was bullshitting me. They were encouraging me, and it's been fantastic.
I'll tell you, I have to say this. I get, in particular, Tim Lazenby, but there are several people in Clapper that have encouraged me to get out of my head. I hear a lot of positive things, and I do try to be a positive person on here. But hearing it from other people, my tendency is to think people are full of shit. They're just being nice to me. So I get it. You know, after hearing it from enough people and enough people that actually cared, you know, you and Ronan and Grace and Tim and Lena and so many others, then I've finally, I'm out of my own head, and I believe that there's got to be something to it, or they wouldn't say it. Because I'm not a celebrity, so they're not kissing my ass for my attention. So there must be something to that. So I get it. And hope that getting up and then doing it with Denim Waves, that you're now convinced that we weren't just blowing sunshine up your ass, that you are a genuinely talented guy. And that's why we like hearing you play. I got a couple more questions I want to get to before we go. First is, what inspired you to start your Wednesday music lives? Because I love those; they're phenomenal.
Yeah, and we're back at it, and I'm hoping that the numbers start to rise. We're going through a rough period here, I think, on Clapper right now with people, because you're not seeing the lives and that. Say the question again, as you said it, so I get it my thoughts right.
What inspired you to start the Wednesday music live in the first place?
Wednesday live. Well, I had been going in, so as you know, I mean, I would come into your live and I would sing. I would go into who's ever live I could find, and I would be one of the people in the box, and I would wait for my turn. But I noticed there was only a couple of us musicians that were doing that, going into all these lives, and you know, everybody's singing and they're all karaokeing and stuff, and that's all fantastic. And there's some people with some really good voices doing karaoke that don't have bands. You know what I mean? So me seeing all these karaoke's of all these lives with karaoke, I thought I wanted to really start a live that was musicians, where I could invite my friends that are musically inclined or singing inclined, playing something. We have a couple, so it's gone that direction. So you look around the lives, and I don't find any lives I can get into with just musicians. So that's why I started that. I have a couple of exceptions. My twin there, she can come in. She's overseas, different hours, that type of thing. But overall, that's why I did it, was to do more musicians in a live together.
Well, to prove you have a generous spirit, you've allowed me to sing in that live a couple of times too. Valid question, right quick. Will you ever be able to run around Walmart as a bumblebee?
Absolutely not. That's her job. Yeah. Actually, if I can go back a second on your last question, I started the live, as I said, because of that reason. But originally, when I first went into a live with musicians, it wasn't me. It was with Navy, Lou. A couple of us were in there back in the day, Rooster. And that's kind of probably what gave me the light to start my own. When that canceled, I thought, oh, we're going back to just karaoke and finding a room, right? I think that's probably the part that made me continue and get it for myself.
Welcome in, Red. For those of you who don't know, Red is Bluesmann's lovely wife. One more question before I wrap it up. And just to show you that I do go through your content before I start an interview, tell us about Nanook.
My Nanook. Nanook is my little tiny dog that grew up to be 110 pounds. And you're probably looking at, he's been in a couple of videos actually that I made, but that one video that you're probably looking at is the one where he just whines like a baby. So Nanook he looks like he looks like Steve's dog, black and white, UFC Steve. There's a few people, our dogs are very similar looking, but Nanook means great white bear of the north. I'm not sure which native language that comes out of, Iroquois, whoever it is, but that's what it means, great white. So that we named him from a friend who's native, whose dog died, we took the name Nanook. And Nanook, every night of the week when it hits like 9:30, if we're not getting off that couch and heading to bed at that hour, because that's work, he starts this crying and whining. You know what I mean? And then I thought, I'm sitting there with my wife the one night there, and it's like 9:15, and he's starting. I thought, where's my camera? I am tired of this. And that's what I did the video. I'm going, look, we're not going into bed. You know, and that kind of thing. He's our dog. He's our big boy who, big suck.
Well, you know, Bluesman, I think fur babies is a perfect name for our pets because they really are just big babies. It's really true. At this point, although I've got more questions I haven't asked, and I'm sure so they do as well. But it's been an hour, so at this point, I want to give you the opportunity to do a shout out. The shout out can be for who or whatever you like, but this is that opportunity now.
I'm gonna do my shout out will be to my live, which is every Wednesday, 6:00 Eastern time. We go till 9:30. Lou is my Diamond Lou. Look him up, friends. If you don't know him, pretty much everybody knows him. But if you don't know him, look him up. Look at me. Diamond Lou is my co-host. Way better musician than me. I'm so proud having him sit beside me. We have people that come in, are Britain, like you guys have seen all these guys' videos, Britain and Ronan, and we just try to, what we're trying to do is give you what you want, and we get what you want by playing to you. That's what we want, is to have an audience. And so I ask, if anybody has time and you want to just stop in and say hello, please do. If you can't, understand. But that'll be my shout off. Will be my live on Wednesdays at 6:00 Eastern.
Yeah, and look up Diamond Lou Official, Britain 8676, Rockin' Papa Classic, I think is his name again now. And occasionally Ronan Saga, who is in the live today, and who has albums on Amazon as well. These guys are phenomenal musicians, and it's well worth your time to go and just sit and listen to these guys do what they do. They're phenomenal at it. I also want to do real quick, Bluesman. I want to first of all thank you again for taking the time to be here, and Red, thank you for making sure he's here, because I'm sure you helped with that. I want to do a shout out for my partner in all this, Fear the Reaper, Paul. He screen records. He's my primary mod in this live. But I want to thank Lena and Danny. And if you got a mod behind your name, it's there for a reason. I appreciate you guys, and I couldn't do this without you. And I want to thank everybody for being here, but most especially Bluesman. Thank you for being here, my friend.
It's my pleasure. I was so happy when you asked me. I thought, because I've had a couple of interviews with you, and your interviews are fantastic. I love the questions you come up with, funny and not. It's just, I enjoy it. So thank you, Tank.
Well, thank you. And with that, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I'll see you guys out in Clapper.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up today.